The rain fell heavily over Abuja that night. The city lights blurred through the storm, and thunder growled like an angry god above the silent skyline of Asokoro. Inside a quiet dining room, a candle flickered between two wine glasses filled with red wine. The soft jazz playing in the background couldn't hide the tension in the air. Daniel sat opposite his wife, Amanda. His eyes were calm, his smile controlled, but his heart was thundering louder than the rain outside. He watched as she raised her glass. He forced a smile. This was it. The night he had planned for weeks. The night he would finally be free. Amanda smiled, that same gentle smile that used to melt his heart years ago, and whispered. To us. Daniel lifted his glass. To us, he echoed, his voice steady though his hands trembled. They clinked glasses. Amanda took a small sip, and so did he. But what Daniel didn't know, what would change everything forever, was that the glasses had been switched. And in that quiet, candlelit room, as the thunder rolled outside, fate silently turned the table. Because in the end, it wasn't Amanda who had been poisoned. It was Daniel. You're watching Nightfall Tales by Wura, where every story whispers the truth behind human hearts. Stay close, this one will break yours. 3 weeks before the rain-soaked night, Abuja was alive in its usual rhythm, calm yet restless, where wealth and loneliness walked side by side. Cars glided through Maitama streets, cafes buzzed with laughter, and people in fine clothes carried secrets behind their smiles. Daniel Okoro, 36, was a civil engineer who worked for a major oil servicing firm based in Jabi. He was tall, handsome in a quiet way, and known among his friends as a gentleman. To everyone who knew him, he had the perfect life, a good job, a beautiful wife, and a home that looked like peace itself. But behind the walls of their lovely duplex in Asokoro, peace was long gone. Amanda Okoro, 31, was a fashion designer who owned a small boutique in Wus too. Once full of laughter and kindness, she had become quieter, almost like a shadow of her former self. Their marriage was dying, not suddenly, but slowly, painfully, like a candle struggling to stay alive in the wind. It started with distance. Then silence. Then lies. Daniel had fallen for another woman, Tina, a new staff at his office. She was bold, confident, and made him feel like a younger man again. Their affair started innocently, a smile here, a lunch there, until one day, Daniel crossed a line he could never uncross. Amanda noticed the change long before Daniel confessed, not with words, but with his absence. The late nights. The meetings. The unfamiliar perfume. The way his eyes no longer held hers. One evening, Amanda confronted him quietly in their living room. Daniel, she said, voice trembling, who is she? He didn't answer. He just sighed, grabbed his car keys, and walked out. That silence shattered her heart completely. From that day, she stopped arguing. She stopped crying. She just stopped caring. But weeks later, as Amanda cleaned the bedroom one Saturday morning, her eyes caught Daniel's phone buzzing on the bed. A message popped up from a contact saved as Segan, lab guy. Curious, she picked it up. Guy, that thing you asked for, I don't bring am. Fast acting, no trace. Just mix em with red wine, she go just sleep off forever. Amanda froze. Her fingers shook so badly the phone nearly fell. She read it again. Slowly. No trace. Red wine. Sleep off forever. She dropped the phone, her whole body trembling. The world around her felt like it had stopped moving. She sat on the edge of the bed, staring blankly into space, her breath heavy and uneven. Her husband, the same man who once knelt to propose under city lights, was planning to kill her. That night, she couldn't sleep. She kept hearing the same question echo in her head, why? By dawn, her tears had dried. She looked at herself in the mirror, her face pale, her heart hardened. And she whispered, if he wants death, then let death choose who deserves it. Amanda started to change. She smiled more. She made his favorite meals. She laughed at his jokes again. Daniel was surprised at first, suspicious even, but slowly, he relaxed. He thought she was finally moving on from their arguments. He didn't know he was being watched. Amanda saw every move he made. Every phone call. Every secret trip. Every coded chat with Segan. She even followed him one day, parking her car a few streets away from where he met Segan near Garki. She watched from a distance as Daniel collected a small brown envelope and tucked it quickly into his pocket. Her heart broke all over again. But she didn't cry this time. When he returned home, she greeted him with a smile. "Dinner is ready," she said softly. He nodded, distracted, and went straight to the bedroom. That was when Amanda made her first move. She called her younger sister, Joy, who lived in Lagos. "Joy," she said in a calm but shaky voice, "if anything happens to me, please don't believe anyone who says it was an accident." "Mandy! What are you talking about?" Joy cried. Amanda only said, "Just remember this call. Please." Then she hung up. That night, when Daniel went to bed, Amanda quietly searched his study. Inside a drawer, beneath some old project files, she found the brown envelope. Inside was a small transparent plastic packet with fine white powder. Her hands shook as she stared at it. So it was true. She placed it back carefully. She knew what she needed to do next. She needed to wait. She watched the days go by. Daniel grew distant again, but more polite. Almost careful. He started making plans: romantic dinner, wine, soft music. Amanda could tell. He was setting the scene. And so, she decided to let him finish the play he started, only this time, she would direct the final act. The night was beautiful. Soft rain. Candlelight. Gentle music. Amanda wore a red gown Daniel had always loved. Her makeup was soft, her perfume faint and sweet. She looked breathtaking and calm. Daniel came home early, looking nervous but charming. He kissed her cheek and said, "You look amazing tonight." "Thank you," she said, smiling. Dinner went beautifully. They talked like old times, about memories, old friends, even the silly fights they once had. Daniel began to feel something strange, guilt. But he pushed it down. He had already made up his mind. After dinner, he opened a new bottle of red wine. Amanda noticed how careful he was with it, how he poured slowly, measuredly, into both glasses. Her eyes followed his every move, though he never noticed. He placed the glasses on the table. "Let's make a toast," he said softly. Amanda smiled. "A toast to what?" He smiled faintly. "To new beginnings." She stared into his eyes for a long moment. Then she said, "To truth." Their glasses clinked gently. As Daniel looked away briefly to reach for his phone, Amanda's fingers moved, quick, silent, precise. She switched the glasses. Then she lifted hers, or what he thought was hers, and said, "Drink, Daniel." "You first." He hesitated, then smiled. "Ladies first." But she didn't lower her glass. Her eyes locked on his. "Daniel," she said softly, "for once in your life, be a gentleman." He chuckled nervously and took a sip. The taste was rich, sweet, and full-bodied, just the way he liked it. Amanda sipped too, pretending. Then she set her glass down, watching him. Minutes passed. Daniel began to sweat. His breathing grew shallow. He blinked rapidly, confused. Amanda leaned forward, tears filling her eyes. "You should never have chosen this, Daniel," she whispered. He tried to speak, but his voice failed. His hand reached out for hers, trembling, desperate, but she didn't move. The candle flickered. The rain outside grew heavier. And for the first time, Amanda saw what real heartbreak looked like, not hers, but his. As Daniel's head dropped slowly onto the table, Amanda whispered through her tears. "To new beginnings." The sound of the rain outside grew louder. Amanda sat still, watching Daniel's head slumped against the dining table, his hand stretched halfway toward her glass. The candle flickered, throwing trembling shadows across the room. For a long time, she didn't move. She couldn't. Her heart raced, but her mind was blank. She had imagined this moment many times, how it would feel, what she would do. But now that it had actually happened, it didn't feel like victory. It felt like silence. A heavy, suffocating silence. Amanda slowly stood up. She walked toward the window, watching the rain fall against the glass, and whispered. "You took everything from me, Daniel. And now, you took yourself." Her phone vibrated on the table. It was a message from Joy. "Mandy, please pick up. I can't sleep. What's going on?" Amanda stared at the phone but didn't respond. Her hands were trembling, her thoughts scattered. For a brief moment, guilt crept into her heart. She hadn't planned to kill him, not truly. She just wanted him to face what he planned. She thought maybe he would stop, confess, regret. But fate had chosen its own ending. As she stood there, she heard a faint noise, a cough. Her eyes widened. Daniel moved. He wasn't dead. Not yet. His eyes fluttered open weakly. His lips trembled as he struggled to speak. "Amanda," he gasped. "You switched the..." Amanda's pulse spiked. Panic filled her eyes. She rushed toward him, kneeling by his side. "Daniel! Please!" But his breathing grew heavier, his words fading into a choking sound. Then his hand went limp. Amanda froze. Tears rolled down her face as she whispered, "Why, Daniel? Why did you make me become this?" She sat on the floor, holding his lifeless hand until the candle burned out and darkness filled the room. The next morning, Amanda woke up on the couch. Her head throbbed, her eyes swollen from crying. The events of the night before came crashing back into her mind like a nightmare that wouldn't end. She looked toward the dining room. The wine glasses were still there. The plates, the candle, and Daniel gone. Gone? Amanda jumped up, her heart racing. The table was clean. No trace of the spilled wine. The chair was upright. The floor spotless. She ran to the bedroom. Daniel's clothes were gone. His shoes were missing. The car keys, too. She froze. "What's happening?" she whispered. Then she saw it, a note on the bedside table. Her trembling hands picked it up. "You shouldn't have done that, Amanda. D." Her heart dropped. Her knees went weak. The note was written in Daniel's handwriting, shaky, but clear. Amanda stumbled backward, her breath short and fast. Was he alive? Had someone helped him? She ran to the living room window. The rain had stopped. The sun was rising over Abuja's quiet skyline, but her world was collapsing. Her phone rang, it was Joy again. "Mandy, you're scaring me. Talk to me, please." Amanda whispered, "He's gone." "What do you mean gone?" "I don't know," Amanda said, shaking. "He was here, and now he's not." Joy was silent for a moment. "Amanda, you need to leave that house. Right now." "Leave?" "Yes. Go to my friend's place in Guarimpa. I'll call her to expect you. Don't stay there." Amanda looked around the house, the photos on the wall, the smell of Daniel's cologne still in the air, and tears welled up again. "Okay," she whispered. "Okay." She grabbed her bag, her phone, and some clothes, and walked out of the house. But as she opened the front door, she froze again. A black car was parked across the street, engine running, windows tinted. Amanda stood there for a few seconds, trying to steady her breath. Then she locked the door and walked quickly to her car, glancing over her shoulder. The black car didn't move. But as she started her engine and drove off, its headlights flicked on and began to follow. Amanda's car sped through the quiet streets of Asokoro, her hands gripping the steering wheel so tight her knuckles turned white. Her heart was pounding. The car behind her kept its distance but never disappeared. She turned into a smaller road near Aya roundabout, the car followed. She took another turn toward Maitama, it was still there. Tears filled her eyes. "God, what is this?" she whispered. Finally, she pulled into a filling station, pretending to buy fuel. The black car slowed down and parked a few meters away. Amanda stepped out and walked toward the shop near the station, pretending to make a phone call. From the corner of her eye, she saw a man step out of the car, tall, dark, wearing a black cap and sunglasses. He leaned casually against his car, watching her. Her phone buzzed again. It was Joy. "Mandy, where are you now?" "At a filling station near Maitama," she whispered. "Joy, someone's following me." "What? Are you sure?" "I'm sure. I saw him." "Listen," Joy said urgently, "go straight to Guarenpa. Go to my friend Chica's house. I'll send you the address now. Don't stop anywhere else." Amanda nodded and hurried back to her car. But as she opened the door, the man called out softly. "Mrs. Okoro?" Her heart stopped. She turned slowly. "Yes," she whispered. He pulled off his sunglasses. His eyes were calm, almost too calm. "I think we need to talk," he said, flashing a badge. Amanda frowned. "Who are you?" "Detective Bayo," he replied. "Abuja Police Department. We found something you need to see." Her lips parted slightly. "What is this about?" He stared at her, his voice low and steady. "Your husband, Mrs. Okoro. He was found unconscious last night at the foot of Zuma Hill. Poisoned, but alive." Amanda gasped. Her bag dropped from her hand. "Alive?" She stared at the detective, her voice trembling. "Alive?" He nodded slowly. "Yes. And he's asking for you." The corridors of the Abuja National Hospital were quiet that morning. The smell of antiseptic filled the air, and the hum of machines echoed softly from every room. Amanda's hands trembled as she walked behind Detective Bayo. Her mind was spinning. Daniel was alive. Every step she took felt heavier than the last. Part of her wanted to turn back, to run away and never look back, but another part needed to see him. Needed to know what happened that night. Detective Bayo stopped at room 207 and opened the door. "Here," he said quietly. Amanda stepped in. Daniel lay on the bed, weak and pale. His face was thinner, his lips dry. Tubes ran from his arm into a drip. His eyes were half closed, but when he saw her, he blinked twice and tried to sit up. "Amanda," he whispered. Her breath caught in her throat. For a moment, she couldn't move. Detective Bayo looked between them. "I'll give you a few minutes," he said and stepped out, closing the door gently behind him. Amanda walked closer, her heart pounding. "I thought you were dead," she said softly. Daniel's voice was faint, weak. "I thought so too." Silence filled the room. They stared at each other, two strangers who once shared everything. Finally, Amanda spoke. "I know about the poison, Daniel. I found the message from Segan. I saw the packet." Daniel's expression didn't change, only his eyes filled with tears. "You were going to kill me," she continued, her voice breaking. "Why?" Daniel's breathing grew shaky. He looked away, pain clouding his face. "It wasn't what you think." Amanda frowned. "Then what was it?" He turned back slowly. "The poison, it wasn't for you." Her eyes widened. "What?" "It was for me," he whispered. Amanda froze. For a few seconds, she couldn't process what she had heard. You wanted to kill yourself?" Daniel nodded weakly. "I was drowning, Amanda. I ruined everything. Tina wasn't what I thought she was. She threatened to destroy my career if I left her. I lost money trying to cover her debts. I felt trapped." Tears filled Amanda's eyes. "So you thought death was the answer?" Daniel looked away. "I couldn't face you. I thought if I just disappeared quietly, it would save you from shame. So I planned that dinner, not to kill you, Amanda. I wanted it to look like an accident. That's why I didn't pour much. Just enough to sleep and never wake up." Amanda's lips trembled. Her chest tightened painfully as the truth sank in. You mean? I switched the cop's end. He nodded. You gave me the one I meant for myself. Amanda's hand flew to her mouth. A sob escaped. Daniel reached for her hand weakly. I'm sorry, he whispered. I'm sorry for everything. Amanda's tears fell onto his hand. No, Daniel. I'm the one who's sorry. Outside the door, Detective Bayo listened quietly, his face unreadable.